Before we actually create our very first query with a little help from Microsoft Access using the Query Wizard, it's important that you understand what the term query means specifically in Microsoft Access. Now, like the name implies, it's kind of like asking a question. In this case, though, with a relational database, we'll be asking for information from any or all of the tables in your database, for example. Or maybe we want to create a new table out of information we pull from various other tables. Another option might be to find any records that don't have matching records in a related table, or on the other hand, we may want to find duplicates if they exist. These are 4 examples of queries that can be created using the Query Wizard in Microsoft Access. That's what we're going to do now. You'll notice up here on the title bar I'm using Music Library 6a, so you can open that up from the Lesson 6 folder of your exercise files, and you'll be all caught up with me. The next thing we need to do is click the Create tab on the ribbon, and over here on the far right you'll notice in the Other section we've got Query Wizard and Query Design, 2 different ways to create queries. We're going to focus in this lesson on the Query Wizard. When I hover over it, you'll see that I can create simple queries, crosstab, duplicates, and unmatched queries. Those are the 4 examples I just talked about. So let's click the Query Wizard button. This is a new query, and you'll see those 4 samples right here. Simple, crosstab, find duplicates, find unmatched. Now, as I click on each one of these, I get a little bit of information over here. The Simple Query Wizard is going to help me create a select query, and that's from the fields I pick from the various tables or table. Now, if I click on Crosstab Query, you can see that this wizard creates a crosstab query that displays data in a compact spreadsheet-like format. So you create a new table out of your choices. Find Duplicates Query Wizard creates a query that finds records with duplicate field values in a single table or query. So I can do queries on queries. And Find Unmatched Query. This wizard creates a query that finds records, in other words rows in a table, that have no related records in another table. So they'd be kind of like orphans. Now, with referential integrity turned on, we're not likely to find any unmatched records. So I'm going to go back up to Simple Query Wizard and click OK. So right away you can see I've got a drop down in the Simple Query Wizard screen here, step 1, where I get to choose the table. So if I click on, for example, Performers, I'll see the fields in the Performers table. If I click on Songs, I see all of those fields. Now I'm going to choose the fields that I want to use in my query. It's important to know here that I can pick fields from this table and then go pick some more fields from another table. So what I'm going to do from the Songs table is choose Song Title, and I'm going to click the single arrow to move that over. The double arrow allows me to move them all over if I wanted every single field in this table, but I just want Song Title right now, and I'm going to use the Performer ID. Alright, now I'm going to click the drop down, and I'm going to go to the Performers table. I'd like to get the first name and the last name of the performer. When I click Next, I move on to the next screen, and I get to name my query. So I'm going to leave the default in there, which is Songs Query, but you could type whatever you like. And then my options down below are to open the query to view the information that's pulled out, or to modify the query design. We're going to get into query design in the next lesson, and then further modifications a little bit later on in this title. So I'm done. I simply click Finish, and you can see what happens here. I get all of my songs. There they all are. You can see the Performer ID, that was a field I selected. You can see the first name and the last name of the performer. So if I come down here, and I'm just going to double click in between the columns to adjust their widths to accommodate the largest entry in each. I come down here to YOY. I see that that's Celine Dion. Her ID is 3. Now I may want to use this in something else. The neat thing is that I can update records using this query if I wanted to. When I hit Tab I'm in the last field here and hit Tab, you can see I can type in new song titles, IDs, first names, and last names if I wanted to. So I'm not going to do that. I'm only going to use this query to look at information, but that's a good example of a simple query where we're extracting information from one or more tables and bringing it all together in one sheet. So in the next lesson, we'll look at creating a query using the design method. So from scratch, you've got a lot more options at your fingertips, but it can be a little bit more complicated. Let's look at that next.